Good afternoon, students. So I think it could be a hectic day for you, but anyway, we are in the process of learning by keeping those things in the account. So what are all the new things that we are going to learn today? That could be the only asset that we are having daily, even though we are being running with our busy schedules. And today's topic regarding Oracle training, that what was being carried out till last schedule. I have gone through your the 3 week schedule. I could able to go through over that. So you have come across the fundamentals. So this is also a place where you have to understand the the practical aspect, where the administrative environment as well as programming environment, both of them will have a vital role here. Okay, pertaining to the topic that what we are going to see today, it's having the role of both administrative environment as well as programming environment. Both of them are having a vital role here. The outcome of this topic, you you could know, or which type of data to be handled for which application. Otherwise, if you have the list of data, you are in a position to identify which composite data type we can use for this. Okay, actually, the the old versions of Oracle will have, or will have only uh, four composite data types only, but the migrations have happened. I think I could be able to remember by 2000, 1999, 2000. During that period only, the transition started to take place. I have completed my Oracle 8i certification exam during my second year UG. So the transition start from 8.0 to 8i. The recent transition was 12c, right? The cloud storage is being incorporated. The clustered storage is being incorporated there. That means using a developmental tool, I could able to reach the infrastructure. Okay, so that could be the major objective that Oracle is working till date. Even their infrastructures are now accessible via cloud services. That is a reason why I could able to write my uh, queries or write my PL or SQL programs either for administrative purpose or for any creative purposes for my programming environment. Everything is going to support. Everything is going to support directly on the cloud. Right? That could be the ultimate motto that 12c was introduced. Most of the features what they have given had been projected over on cloud computing and its services. That is the reason why it is named as 12c. Right. First, we will go through the primary types that what we have come across. Right. Especially in composite data types, we have some preliminaries are there. Those things are mandatory to understand. After that, we will get into the new types that what they have given in 12c. Right. So I think hardly you are going to see 7 types here, including the updated version. So have an idea. You have to use the corresponding composite data type if necessary. Right? Might be we will be introducing all the content, but you have to identify the of the uh, need of the art, right? Based upon that only you have to use. So please remember that it's not like using your your fundamental or primitive data types, integer, float, number. Okay, likewise, it could not be used. Especially the composite data types has been introduced for the purpose of record management. Okay, so it consists of collection of data. That is the reason why the composite data type uh, that I could able to start with my array, right? So that's the place that it has been given on our the past programming languages that what we have come across. Homogeneous collection of data can be managed over 100, right? But a record consists of heterogeneous contents also, right? I could have a roll number, I could have a name, I could have a combination of number and character, right? So those things are also being applicable here. So by keeping those aspects, we will move forward, right? This could be the briefing session that what we are going to see on the continuous things. Right? Why I have to go for my composite data types? This is what the content that we need to use. So I have conveyed you, right, the place where I have to use my composite data type. Okay. So in a particular variable, I'm going to store 10 product names. In that case, I need to go for my composite data type. That's the first one. Second thing, so for a single product, if I need to store the heterogeneous data, I have to use the data type record. Okay, I have to use the data type record. So first one I could able to use the table. Second one I could able to use the record. They are telling the use case scenario as well as the place that where I need to use. Right? So if my column size is unknown, in that case I have to use the content percentage type. Okay, percentage type. So if I need to work with the columns for the particular table, so in that case I have to use percentage row type. Okay, percentage row type. So these example specific illustrations will give you the application base. That's it. Okay. So where I have to use my table, because why we are talking about table here, because one of the composite data type is a nested table here. That's the reason. So where I have to use my table, where I have to use my record, where I have to use my percentage type, and where I have to come for row type. So all those things that it is accountable for you. So please remember that. So by that we'll get into, because I don't want to take it as a theoretical section. I think it could be something based on programming, right? So because those things will help you and understand, and it could made you to apply, right, even for the orientation. That's the reason why it has been designed like this. These are all the uh, preliminary level composite data types that you need to understand, right? Associative array, nested table, V array, that is variable size array. That's what V array. Record. So these four data types are available starting from 8i till 12c. It is available. Okay, till 12c it is available. But after 8i, in every version we have something to be added. The features are being added, right? Especially I have a CLOB and BLOB for storing image data in my fundamental primitive data types, but it can be combined with my record, right? That feature is not available in 8.8, but it has been come over on 11G, right? That G represents my dead computing. So likewise, depending upon their improvements that you could be able to move upon. So that's the major criteria, right? Associative array, nested table, V array, and a record. So we are going to see examples for syntax and examples for all these four categories, right? After that, we are going to travel with the additional features which was ready to support till date. This is what the total agenda of our today's session. Okay. So use of composite data types where I could use. So collections, records, right, on our applications that I could be able to use. I think instead of seeing these one as sentences when you are going to work with the programs, that you will ready to know about that. Okay, this is the place that I have to employ V array. This is the place that I have to employ my associative array. So likewise, you could able to take it forward. First one is associative arrays. Okay, don't worry about the associative arrays are completely what you have come across in your programming language. The same thing, nothing more than that. Okay, so but the thing is that you have two-dimensional, three-dimensional, but here you have only single-dimensional. Okay, so it don't have any boundaries. That's what unbounded sparse collection of homogeneous elements. So I think you will be talking about something on contiguous locations, right? That's what they are ready to retrieve. So it could be like your dual, right? It could be like your dual, what you are coming across in your SQL concept, right? Select star from dual. So that could be used for your uh, built-in functions that what you are going to execute. So likewise, this associative array will ready to work for that. So it has some predetermined sections only. In that only you have to use. You cannot be able to use apart from that. Even though we will be using the term unbounded, it doesn't mean limitless. It's having a range. So within that range that you have to use. So what does the term sparse? Nothing but contiguous. The sequential locations that it is going to be mentioned over on that. But the idea here is even though we have locations are sequential, it's not mandatory for me to store it sequentially, right? I think you have come across in your DBMS probing, right? You have come across. So there you could able to find by employing a hashing, I could able to store in a different location. Depending upon my different types of hashing algorithms, I may choose different buckets. Right? So that's also being possible over there. That's the idea. Okay. So ultimately, if I want to store homogeneous elements, I have to use associative array. That is a point that we want to stretch it upon. And this is my syntax. So how to declare a associative array, right? Type, right? Type. That could be the keyword. Associative underscore array underscore type. That is the name of the array. Okay, that's the name of the array. Is table of is again the keyword. Data type that I have to mention. So what type of data I'm going to store in my array. Okay. So an null that you can specify if you are not going to mention. So index by, right? So index by. So how you are going to organize your elements. That is the reason why the term index by has been given, right? So this is the syntax. This could be an example. So I'm going to give you a name, right? This table of the corresponding uh, varchar2. I'm going to store string, right? Capital type. So index by varchar2 of 50, right? I am restricting based upon the number of elements over there. This could be a basic example. This could be a complete program, right? This could be a complete program. Yeah, PL bar SQL program. I think you people have started to work with the PL bar SQL program. I think you might have knowledge on this right already. DBMS, I think you have come across that. So here, how I am assigning, see that way of assigning the content. See, key and data both are being specified. Have you seen that? Key and data. T underscore capital of within single quotes I have given USA, right? So in that key, the data Washington DC will be stored. So T capital within single quotes United Kingdom. In that key, the data London will be stored. Okay. So likewise, we have given the three keys. In the three keys, the corresponding data are going to be stored. And you have some built-in methods also in associative array, right? The one of the built-in methods is dot next. Okay, dot next. Now it's like your iterator in your Java collections, right? It's like your iterator in your Java collections. The same way that it will proceed. It is ready to because when I'm going to use in my control structures, iterative control structures, to move from one record to other record, it would be more helpful for me. Here to move from one location to other location, it would be more helpful for me. Okay, so that's the main case. So I have combined both the programs here. I have created an associative array. The data is being populated, and I am ready to roll out that array, and I am printing the value available in the array. That's it. So that could be my major criteria here. See, and one more method that you need to understand here is dot first, right? Already I have shown you next. Here first is also there. Check that variable uh, I hyphen I underscore countries colon equal to t underscore capital dot first. I'm initializing the first element, right? So still my array would not be empty, that I have to move forward, right? The temporary variable that what I'm going to use here, that would be helpful for me to fetch the value and store it in the corresponding variable, and I could able to roll it over on that, right? So that could be the major thing. So using this associative array, what we have did, for a key I have stored a data, I have iterated that complete data, and I have iterated all the keys, and I have displayed all the corresponding data pertaining to the keys. That's all. This is what I have did in this program. First part is declaration part. There I have declared my associative array. Second part is I am assigning the data for the key. Third part is by using a control structure. Already before getting into the control structure, first key is being assigned with a temporary variable. That variable could be the index variable for my control structure. So the iterative control structure will roll over, and it will fetch me all the available elements in the temporary variable. Once no elements are available, it will come out of the control structure, right? So here my important learnings are two things: dot first and dot next. These are all the two built-in methods for my associative array. So you know the procedure how to create the associative array. Type array name is table of corresponding data type, index by, you could able to give the organize, how you want to organize. For that you can give that length, right? It should be less than the thing that what you have given in the reason. Even you could able to give an equated fraction also, no issues. Okay, this could be the way that you have to declare. Next, you have to use your array data type to mention the corresponding data, to store the corresponding data. So next, by using for loop or by using while loop, that you could able to iterate and come forward to produce the items given in the corresponding associative array. So I have visited all the elements, all the locations in the associative array. So that's the point that I want to stretch it over here, right? That's my first concept, associative array. Second concept, nested tables. What does it belongs to? Nested tables. Actually, why I have to go for my nested table? That could be a case, right? Normally, in a table itself, we could able to store sufficient amount of data. Then what is the purpose of these nested tables? Even they are having the same property what my associative array is going to hold. This nested table is fundamentally will behave like a data structure, right? But they will not use the term anywhere else in your context. That is the major setback. Okay, so it's a single dimensional ultimately. That each row has a single column of data, like a one dimensional array. Since it is bounded, it means that it should also must have a range. Okay, that range will be less than the main table because it is nested. It should not cross the main one. It should be less than the size of my main table. And third one is ultimately we are going to store similar type of data. That's the case that where we need to employ our nested tables. What will make it to be differentiated from associative array? So during programming, you could come to know about that. So how I am declaring an array? Okay. How I am declaring an array, and how I am producing an example here. What could be the criteria to use? Right. So type the table name is table of the column, the corresponding data type that to be used for manipulating the data. It has to be given over there. Even I could able to give, it could be a not null. Okay. So even I could able to declare a variable also based upon my table type. Okay, table type. So because after data type, I will give you a variable, right? The same way only here also I will. So create or replace. So it could be like my cursors that you have learned already. The same way only. The type could be the keyword, the corresponding array name, and the corresponding is table of the data type that what I will use with. Right? So that could be the case. So okay. How I will add the elements. Here you have to come forward a keyword called the extend. Okay. To add elements into my nested table, first I have to give this notification to the table. That variable name dot extend. After giving that only, I could able to add the element. So that variable colon equal to element. That is the procedure. If I want to add only one element. If I want to add n number of elements, the syntax has been given like that. After extend, you have to open the parenthesis, how many elements that you are going to insert. That much value should be given over there. So next, the corresponding elements you have to assign that itself. Okay. So if you are going to insert 5 elements means first you have to give nested underscore table underscore variable dot extend of 5 semicolon. So afterwards what you have to do? So the corresponding variable equal to data colon. Likewise you have to give 5 times the corresponding statement. So how could I able to access? Using their index I could able to access. So that could be the syntax for this. Using that variable of the corresponding index I could able to fetch it. How I will iterate, and this could be the place where I'm using my for loop. In the previous associative array, I have shown you based upon my while, right? Here I have shown you the for loop. You have an index variable. In is the parameter here. Okay, in is the parameter. I think you have come across in parameter and out parameter, right? On functional arguments of your PL bar SQL procedure, the same way only, right? In so my variable dot first, right? Dot first is the built-in content. Is the built-in keyword. That what you have seen as the extend, first, last, the same way only here also. So from first location to till last location. That's what it's rolling out. Between that, I could be able to find out 2 dots. Instead of using the term to, using the phrase to, I am going to use it. Right? So loop and end loop. So instead of having curly braces, we are using the term loop and end loop. So I'm going to apply this. This could be my complete program. Something to see. It could be like a very bigger one, but don't worry about that. It's very easy once you start to work with, right? So, what would be the role of cursor? Right? Cursor is my temporary storage area. If I am going to fetch bulk number of records, that will be stored in that single variable. That's it. That's the reason why cursor will be declared. Even I could be able to specify and customize and use it. Actually, cursor is a well-defined data structure that is available in my Oracle environment. I think you could not be able to find this type of data structure anywhere else. See, I am writing a query, select name from customers, order by name. I have given you a condition. Again, say next condition. Fetch first 10 rows only by applying 2 implications on the corresponding table. The retrieved results will be stored as it is. That's the specialty of my cursor. Okay, that's the specialty of that data structure. So as usual, I am giving my nested table, right? Uh, I have given that variable as well as see that here I have used percentage type. Okay, where I will use percentage type, I could able to remember you, right? The first thing that you could able to come across where I have to use my percentage type. The size of the column in the database is unknown. In that case, I have to employ percentage type. Okay, so that could be the place that we are ready to come up with for here. So the corresponding variable is being initialized. Does anybody of you could be able to recollect that it could be like a constructor here? Okay, it could be like a constructor t underscore customer underscore name underscore type. I have opened and closed the parenthesis. It could be like my constructor. This constructor will be helpful for my initialization. All right. So what I am doing, I am ready to add the customer names. I have used the extend. See that the for loop, I am ready to extend. So what I am going to extend, I am going to add a customer name at the last. So that's what I am doing. So the second section of the program, what it works with, using a for loop, I am ready to display what are all the customer names are available in. So how I am displaying that variable name of index. This is what we have given over there. Variable name of index. So that could be the main idea to project it over here. Okay. So that's the case. So again, I will give you in detailed fashion. I think 30 seconds. I think there's a technical glitches happening in my system. Please hold on for 30 seconds. I'll be back. Yes, fine. I think it was being rectified. Uh, so we are declaring a cursor. So I'll give you the detailed explanation of the program again. That's the reason why I have broken into this number of slides, because we are having very limited concepts to be discussed on a span of time. That's the reason why I had created the slides in this fashion. So I'm creating a cursor. I'm declaring the cursor such that the first 10 alphabetically started customer names are stored. This is the way that to be procedured and to be followed. I am declaring the nested table type. So how it should be, right? Percentage type. I am not worrying about my columns. That's the reason why it has been given like that. And I'm declaring my variable which belongs to my nested table. See that they have given initialize using the nested table constructor. I'm ready to fetch the customer names from the cursor and add them to the nested table. Right. So in the temporary store from the temporary storage area, I am ready to add the contents whatever I am going to given through my console. So finally, what are all the contents available in the table that will be displayed using the index. So that's the thing. So actually, that's a table which consists of customer data. While executing this, we'll get this output. Okay. Next one is V array, right? Variable sized array, right? This consists of the several examples on this. How to use it? That could be the major case. Okay. How to declare that? Syntax will be common as the term. See, syntax will be common for all these types of composite data types will be same. First, I will give the keyword type. I will have a name. Next, I am going to give the corresponding uh, predicate for that. Finally, I will mention the data type for the predicate. That's it. If I don't have any data, I will use not null. That's it. The same way only V array is also being mentioned over on that, right? So T underscore name underscore type. That is the name of my V array. Okay, that's the name of my name array. So there I am going to use two variables here. First one is T underscore names. Second one is T underscore e names. So these are all the two things that I am going to work with. So what I'm going to store T underscore name underscore type is being passed with an argument John, comma Jane. Okay. Next one I have passed with a default constructor is being passed over on that. So I am ready to print how many T underscore E names that I have stored, how many T underscore names that I have stored. It will give me the count alone, right? It will give me the count alone. That could be the major case. So V array of 2, that 2 represents that I could be able to store within 2 locations. How to use it for record? How to use this V array for record? Okay, so that's the thing here we have to work with. So V array can be used for element. First category we have seen. Here we have shown for 2 elements. Here we are going to work with for 2 records. See the in the begin section, you have the first record for ABC car, second record for XYZ INC. Okay, I could able to add 2 records in the corresponding table. Okay, 2 records in the corresponding table. And see the declaration part, you have a slight variation because we are incorporating as is record. See in the previous one, I have mentioned as is V array. Okay, so here I am utilizing V array with the record. Please remember that. So the record consists of 2 fields. First field is customer name. Second field is their limit, the limit for transaction. So every record will consist of these 2 fields. Likewise, I am storing 2 records. That is what my V array is going to show you. As usual, declare the constructor. So using that variable, what I have defined over on the T underscore customer underscore type. So based upon that, I am ready to come up with my records to be assigned, and the assigned records are being displayed. As well as here, what we are doing, we are counting how many number of customers are there. Right? So it is ready to count and tell there will be 2 customers alone. Right? So that's the way of using PL bar SQL V array with the records. This is one. I think it could combine everything. Okay. There is a record. The record consists of 2 fields. First field is a customer name. Second field is a credit limit. I am declaring the V array. So here I have declared for 5 records, right? Here I have declared for 5 records. Here I am creating the cursor. Here I am creating the cursor, right? I have given the name for the cursor. I am ready to fetch the data based upon a constraint. What's the constraint I have given? I am fetching name and credit limit from the customers table based upon order by increasing order. Who is having the maximum credit limit? Who is having the lesser credit limit will come first, because I have given order by credit underscore limit DESC. That means it will come in the descending order. So those who are having lesser credit limit will come first. In that, first 5 rows will be fetched over on there. Okay, so those 5 data will be available in C underscore customer cursor. C underscore customer is the name of the cursor. So from the cursor, we are going to fetch the data. For fetching the data and storing in a place, I am going to work with my V array type. In that place only I am using my V array type. So I am ready to add those things also, because I have given the extend keyword. Okay, so what are all the things that I need to project with? So once I have added my data with the existing customers using a for loop, I am going to display all the customers as usual. The way how I will write my for loop, starting with the first customer, ending with the last customer, using the keyword dot first and dot last. Instead of using the keyword to I am going to use double dot. That's all. So within the loop, I am going to specify what are all the data I am going to fetch it out. See, in the place where we are going to display the data, I will be using my V array data type based variables only, right? I am not using the variable from cursor. Please remember that. So what I have used the data from my V array only. T underscore customers of the corresponding index name dot customer name. So it will be fetched, because from cursor temporary storage area, the data has been transferred into my corresponding V array. So the data is available in the sequential V arrays. So while I'm going to iterate using for loop, sequentially the continuous records are being fetched. Already 5 records are available. If I am going to add the subsequent number of records, that will be displayed along with the existing number of records when for loop is going to be iterated. So that is the case that where we are ready to look after. Okay, so that is the idea. If I want to delete elements from the V array, what I have to do? So these are all the commands. So please remember, I could able to delete the entire V array. I could able to delete only the particular record, trim. I could able to trim how many number of records you want to delete from the particular storage circle, right? So trim of I means it will ready to trim the number of records that what you have mentioned. Trim of n. N represents how many number of records that you want to trim, how many number of elements that you want to delete, right? So delete for the structure, trim and trim of n. Both of them will work for the individual elements. Okay. Delete for the data structure, trim the trim of n will work for the data. Okay, so that could be the role of my V array. And the last one, record. Actually, record is a composite data type. Most of the places interchangeably people have used, but actually record is a data structure. Already table is a data structure, right? So if it is in that case, my record is also a data structure because it is ready to hold different kinds of data. By using a single variable, I am ready to access all the contents. So records consist of different fields, similar to a row of a database table, right? There are 3 types of records. First one is table based. Second one is cursor based. Third one is user defined records. So I could able to create my own record, like what we have seen previously using my V array or using my associative array or using my nested table. I could able to create my user defined records. Okay, so we'll see one by one. First one is table based records. Table based records. So I am ready to retrieve my customer underscore rec customers dot row type. Okay, customer underscore rec is the name of the table. Sorry, the name of the type that I am ready to declare. Customers is the name of the table. Okay, so select star into customer underscore rec. That is going to be serve as my table based record from customers where id equal to 5. So what does it mean? Already the customer table will have id, name, address, salary. Okay, we have a table. From the table where the record which is equivalent to the id value is going to be 5, I need to fetch only that data, right? So for that, here table based records are being provisioned. Okay, so select star into, I'm going to store a complete row in a single variable. Complete row. Okay, complete row in a single variable. Row represents one record consists of n number of fields. All n number of fields will be stored into a single variable, right? So that's what they are ready to represent. So if, by using that variable, I will be accessing the individual field in the given record, right? You will be able to see that variable name dot id, variable name dot name, variable name dot address, variable name dot salary. So here I have used my percentage row type, right? So that could be the primary usage of my table based records. This will be more useful when you are going to work with filters in the PL bar SQL programs, right? So this could be my output and I'm going to execute. Corresponding to ID value, we have fetched. That is the condition we have given, right? So we are displaying the ID value, name, address, and the salary. The way that how we will execute my PL bar SQL procedure. Next one is cursor based. Okay, cursor based. I think if cursor was introduced to you already, no issues. If not, don't worry. Cursor is a temporary storage area, right? So table based record is level 1. Second level is cursor based. In table based record, in a single variable, I could able to store the multiple fields of one record. Okay? Multiple fields of one record. Here, multiple records of a table. Okay, multiple records of a table can be stored. That is the purpose of this cursor. Okay, so here also I have mentioned the percentage row type. Here what you have to do, first you have to open the cursor, perform the operation, and you have to close the cursor. I think closing the cursor will could be a default one, but you have to close. That's the best way to use. Otherwise, you will enter with danger link pointer issues, right? It will ready to rise upon that, because garbage collection you have to do it through your program only in Oracle administrative environment. Right? You have to do it through your own case, because automatic cache clearing is not possible anywhere else, right? So that is the reason why you have to close your cursor here. So where you have to close your cursor, after end loop you have to give. Okay, close cursor name. So open cursor name. I am iterating into that cursor area. So I am ready to fetch the value into my cursor variable. I am iterating till the cursor is having no data. Right? While iterating, I am going to fetch only two data. What is the data I am going to fetch? I am going to fetch the ID and name. Right? So how I am fetching? I am fetching using the corresponding row type, which is derived from my cursor name. That is the reason why cursor based records. Table based records means the percentage row type will help me to store only one record. That record consists of multiple number of fields. When the same percentage type is going to help me when I am going to use my cursor based records, here the percentage row types will ready to convey me. It consists of n records. Okay, it consists of n records of a table. That's the thing. Okay, there are fields here, tables. So it's the level 1 up. So that could be the case called a cursor based records. So ultimately we have printed that ID and name. User defined records, right? I think this would be something easy to understand. Here I am declaring, I think this could be the apt one, right? To understand about record, because the previous two items are to incorporate the concept of record with table and record, actual built-in record, table and cursor. But here you are going to create your own record, right? Already the concept of table is available. Why we have to study about record here? That could be a very big question always. Even that question will stimulate me now and then whenever I am going to learn about my Oracle. Already we came from record data, record file, DBMS, RDBMS, ODBMS. Likewise, we have derived. But what is the reason to study again these types of records again? The reason here is we could not be able to manipulate the data directly. We must use it in the known form, right? So already I have conveyed you. Whatever the problem which is visible in the real-time environment, that should be understood by the human being in two-dimensional fashion only, right? Table is a two-dimensional fashion, row, comma, column. That is the reason why whatever the contents are going to be given, that will be analyzed by the human being in terms of two-dimensional only. So that is the reason why the two-dimensional data is being further split into a one-dimensional data as a record. So to process the populated data, I need to use my user-defined records. That's the case that here we are going to work with. So here I am initializing, or here I am declaring my record first. So I am going to create a record called books. That record consists of 4 fields: title, author, subject, book ID. Right? So I am creating 2 books, book 1, book 2. It's like constructor, it's like object. Okay, book 1 and book 2. So I am in the begin section. You will be able to see that for book 1 I am giving all the initialization: title, author, subject and ID. Likewise for book 2 also I am ready to supply all the details. So book 1 and book 2 data I am going to print. That's it. A very simple and easy program to understand with the user defined records, right? User defined records. Please remember that this user defined records, when you are going to use it as a standalone one, it's waste. It must be combined with the other concepts of Oracle, right? So when I'm going to use with my packages, when I'm going to use with my cursor, okay, so when I'm going to use with my trigger, in that places that you have to take it forward. Okay, the same way only. So here, what we are doing, I can pass this record as a parameter. I can pass this record as a parameter. Here I think you could able to see a procedure. I am using a procedure called print book. For the print book, I am passing the parameter. Parameter is an object of the books, object of the record. That's it. Okay. So print book will print the data. See the same program, but here I wrote with using my procedure. That's it. Procedure print book of the corresponding record object. I have passed over on that. Right. So by that it will ready to fetch my data. So this is the update on your Oracle 19. The data type is nothing but composite data type, which was recently updated. Reference. Okay. So reference. So that can be used in this way. Okay. So underscore ref. So the important usage here is not dangering. What does it mean? It's not dangering. That means the variable will not create the memory leak. It is replacing this null and not null concepts. Okay, it's not dangering. See, the extended data type here is reference. Reference is a composite data type. That means they are ready to work with your pointers, with your addresses, right? So, yeah, very simple thing is, instead of writing exception handling, they are using this is not dangering. It is like a exception constant. It's not dangering, right? When when I don't have any references, the query should not throw any exception, right? So normally, what will happen if no rows are affected? I will get no rows are affected. Suppose I'm going to take some data from the table where I don't have any data. In that case, what I will do while fetching the data, while I'm issuing the query, if no data are available, it will immediately supply no rows are available or no records are available. Likewise, it will retrieve me back. Okay. So is not dangering is represents to manage the exception handling nature or feature. These three also the subtypes of the recent composite data types. First one is any type, right? Any type. So I could able to store any type of data, right? So people are ready to relax us from data types. How Python is making to work with them. Likewise, here 19C also giving that relaxation, any type. Okay, so any type. So this type is ready to store, and I want to convey the term called transient, right? The same type of keyword is available in our Java also. I think most of the time we do have not talked about that transient. Okay, so transient means data will be available, but it was unreferenced. In that case, how you will access the data using this keyword transient? I could able to access it, right? Transient data. So that's what any type. Second level is any data. Any data means I am ready to represent my table. Okay, I am ready to represent my table. That is what any data. Either I could be able to represent any one row or any one column that can be directly assigned using this any data. Okay, I could be able to manipulate and do with that any data. Third one has been designed for like us ML and DL folks. Any data set, that is a recent content, right? Any data set. If I want to play with my data sets, I think Pandas framework. Pandas framework has been projected with limited liabilities. Okay, but any data set is going to work with not only with the SQL, it could be able to work with any type of data set. Okay, I think you have some restriction on CSVs and other XQL. but any data set could be able to work with all types of data sets. That could be the main advantage. Even I could be able to manipulate the corresponding data set using my any data sets. Okay, so that could be the advanced in nature and the futures of my 19C update. Okay, so that could be the case. So this could be my entire session. Still, you have any clarifications on the sessions what I have covered? You can raise me doubts or any other concepts that you need to have the clarifications. You can ask me.